Hey, Ditch Fishers, and a happy spring forward to all of you. Man, this has got to be my favorite time of year. That first day after we go to daylight savings time, when the sun stays out and the weather starts to warm up and we just get a little extra hour of daylight. There is really nothing worse than in the middle of winter, if you've got a 9 to 5 job like I do, getting off and basically coming home when it's dark outside. Ugh. Miserable. And our lovely federal government a few years back decided to move it up a few weeks. If you recall, daylight savings time used to not happen until toward the end of March. So I guess the feds are good for something after all. I think, though, that if they really wanted to make a good change, they should make daylight savings time happen on a Friday and declare it a holiday. And that way everyone can be off work on that Friday, enjoy an extra hour of daylight that day and through the weekend. Man, that would be great. The only, I guess, damper on the good news of spring forward is that, gosh, winter just won't seem to get out of here. We've had kind of an odd winter, a whole lot of rain. Geez, we don't need any more rain, that's for sure. But it was also pretty mild, and I was really hoping for an early spring. But I spent my spring forward Sunday, actually was visiting some relatives down on the coast, and it was cold and windy. And we tried to eat crawfish, but we had to end up doing it inside. It's nothing worse than eating crawfish inside. Oh well, it is what it is, and spring will be here before you know it. And perhaps my next favorite day after spring forward day is that first day when it really starts to feel like spring outside. You know, when the grass starts to smell and green, and there's some color on the trees, and the breeze turns from cool to warm. Man, that's just a great feeling. I like to get in my car and put some Sublime on and just cruise around and go check out and see what everybody's yards look like. And that day will be coming here at some point. Winter has got to leave us, and hopefully it'll be sooner than later. They're predicting, for my area at least, a nice little warm up and sunny day this weekend. So maybe that will be the time. All right, so moving on. I appreciate all you guys listening last week to the introduction episode. I know I got maybe a little philosophical, telling you who I am and what this podcast is all about. And now we're going to go off script a little bit and just talk about a few things that have interested me and what's going on with the Ditch Fisher. So let's start with some news. I read the news today, oh boy. All right. First off, just a few news stories that piqued my interest. There's an article in the Clarion Ledger, actually on the Mississippi Sportsman website, about the divide between the Ross Barnett Reservoir district folks and fishermen regarding spraying the weeds and grass in the reservoir. Now, this has been a touchy subject on both sides. The reservoir officials contend that we have some invasive species as far as grass and weeds go, and spraying is necessary to keep those under control. Of course, the fishermen, they like the grass because that's where the bass hide. So looks like our favorite former sportscaster, I guess he's still a sportscaster, he's got his radio show now, Bobby Cleveland. He used to write for the Clarion Ledger and may still do. I have not taken that paper in quite a while, to be honest, but he apparently got a group together of fishermen and reservoir officials, and they just kind of tried to hash out their differences and see where each other was coming from and work out some sort of understanding. And I think that is probably the best way to proceed. I can really see both sides of this issue. I mean, we do have invasive species in the reservoir, and spraying, I don't like the idea of spraying chemicals into our water supply regardless of the reason, but I'm also not a biologist. And to hear the reservoir officials talk, if we let this grass and algae and weed get out of control, it could really cause a lot of problems. So I guess I'm kind of on the fence here. One thing that is for sure is that this problem of invasive species was brought upon by ourselves. People who are either ignorant, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I just mean that they did not know, or, and I do mean this in a bad way, irresponsible fishermen, boaters who don't clean their hulls off properly after fishing or boating in a body of water, and then loading up in the trailer and coming home and then putting out in the reservoir. Well, they're transferring all this stuff. If you're in a location like me where it's just a couple hours drive to get to the coast, it's real easy just to hitch the boat up on a nice Saturday morning, drive down there, go fish the marshes, do something different. It's an adventure, it's a fishing trip. We love that, but you got to know that you're driving around in an environment unlike what your home environment is like, and you're carrying stuff back. So guys, boaters who are out there, really, regardless of your feelings on spraying the grass or not, it's real important that we clean the hull of our boats after we fish in one waterway and before we put in to another. Hugely important. Speaking of boats, actually, a buddy of mine recently got together and found a little 14-foot aluminum boat. It's got a 26 horsepower motor on it. Found it on Craigslist and went ahead and we picked it up. We're neighbors, and so we fished together anyway. So we decided we'd split the difference and got it at a pretty good deal, and left a little room in the budget to fix it up. And really looking forward to doing some serious crappie fishing. Now, as you guys may know, my big deal is kayak fishing, and not just fishing. I just like being out in my kayak, but I do love crappie, and sometimes the best way to catch crappie, in fact the best way to catch crappie, is definitely out of a boat, when you can really get on them and kind of sit and camp there, and have a big cooler and everything or live well where you can really load up and hopefully catch your limit. So I'm looking forward to that, and that will also be the reason behind our gadget of the day coming up later in the episode. A little accessory I've picked up for our new boat. We'll talk about that here shortly. Okay, so let's take a quick music break and come back for the rest of the news. Enjoy.
Self-esteem. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yeah. We make plans to go out at night. I wait till 2, then I turn out the light. All this rejection's got me so low. She keeps it up, I just might tell her so. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yeah. When she's saying that she wants only me, I wonder why she wants to be with my friends. She's saying that I'm like a disease, then I wonder how much more I can spend. Well, I guess I should stick up for myself, but I think it's really better this way. The more you suffer, the more it shows you really care. Right? Now I relate this little bit score. Now I know I should say no, but it's kinda hard when she's ready to go. I may be dumb, but I'm not a queen. I'm just a sucker with no self-esteem. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yeah. When she's saying that she wants only me, I wonder why she wants to be with my friends. When she's saying that I'm like a disease, then I wonder how much more I can spend. Well, I guess I should stick up for myself, but I really think it's better this way. The more you suffer, the more it shows you really care. Right?
Okay, so that was a little picking on Offspring for your listening enjoyment. Back to the news. Another thing that I found interesting was that on fishhound.com, they have rated the top 50 crappie lakes in the United States. I guess it says best crappie lakes in America. I'm assuming they mean the United States. But guess what? The number one crappie lake, according to this list, is just a few hours north of Jackson, Mississippi, where I'm located, in Grenada Lake. And I will attest, man, that is a great lake, and boy, a great crappie fishing lake. But it really holds a number one spot amongst some good company. Let me just go over some of the top 10 are just some of the top ranking lakes, and it's really interesting how strongly Mississippi is represented in this list. A few little stats here. 7 of the top 30 and 4 in the top 10 are in Mississippi. My home lake, the Ross Barnett Reservoir, actually just makes that top 30 as number 29, followed by number 30, which is the Tin Tom, the Tennessee Tombigbee Waterway, which is up there near Columbus, but it's a big waterway, so I could technically count as a Mississippi lake in portions of it. But if I'm just going to go to this website here, we'll take a look, and let me just go over the top 10 or so with you. Starting with number 10, you have Logan Martin in Alabama. Number 9 is Lake Dardanelle in Arkansas. It's a weird name. Number 8 is Barkley Lake in Kentucky. Number 7 is Lake Washington in Mississippi. I've never fished in Lake Washington, and I'm not quite sure where it is. It says here Lake Washington represents the top-ranked true oxbow lake on the list. This disconnected oxbow lies alongside the Mississippi River and includes sufficient lodging and amenities for the visiting angler. It's one of the largest natural lakes in Mississippi. At approximately 700 years old, it may also be one of the country's oldest lakes. Wow, isn't that interesting? Boat ramps are located at Okies and Cypress Gardens on the south side of the lake. The lake is also accessible through Roy's Store and the Southern Star RV Park. So Lake Washington, they don't give a location, like which town it's nearby. I'm going to assume, obviously it's on the Mississippi, so it's on the western end of the state. I'm going to assume maybe up there in the Delta region, but perhaps someone could send me an email and give me a little more information. One thing's for sure, I am going to be adding Lake Washington to my list of weekend destinations here soon. Maybe we can even do a Ditch Fisher video cast about it. Speaking of sending me emails, if you'd like to do so, and I'm still working on the @DitchFisher email address, but for now you can send it to Eskimo, ESKIMO .the, @gmail.com. That's Eskimo.the @gmail.com. Or you can go to the Ditch Fisher, all one word, ditchfisher.com website, and you can follow the links there. There's also a contact me link there. Or you can just leave a comment beneath this podcast. So I'd really like to hear if anyone has any information about Lake Washington. All right, so continuing, number 6 is the Green River Lake in Kentucky. Number 5, Arkabutlo Lake in Mississippi. It's a great lake if you've never been there. Number 4 is Reelfoot Lake in Tennessee. Number 3 is Kentucky Lake in Tennessee. Number 2, get this, Sardis Lake, Mississippi. Now, some of you state fans out there may just turn the volume down after you hear this, but I promise I'm not biased either way. I went to school in that school up north in Oxford and spent many days and hours fishing at Sardis Lake. I didn't have a boat when I was a poor college student, but I did rent canoes or go out and wade fish. And Sardis is, gosh, it's just a beautiful place. Really interesting lake because it's a flood control lake. And man, the water level will drop down to almost the original river channel at some portions of the year, and then other times it's flooded to the brim. So it's really cool place. Really good bass fishing, especially when it's flooded and you can get back there in some of those old grass flats that are flooded and they're all 4 feet deep, and you can just wade out there and catch a whole ton of bass. And okay, and so then finally, as I mentioned, the number 1 crappie fishing lake in the United States, as according to fishhound.com, Grenada Lake, Mississippi. Let me tell you what it says about Grenada Lake. Grenada Lake is a reservoir on the Yalobusha River in the state of Mississippi. It's one of the 4 flood control lakes in northern Mississippi constructed by the Corps of Engineers and was built to help flood control along the Yazoo River Basin. The dam is located on the Yalobusha River, approximately 3 miles northeast of Grenada, Mississippi. So, there you have it. Number 1 crappie fishing lake in the United States, according to fishhound.com, is right here in Mississippi, Grenada Lake. All right, moving on to some more news. Oh, and actually, as an aside, I have a note here that the record white crappie was actually also caught in Mississippi in Enid Lake, which is also a great crappie fishing lake, though it didn't make the top 10. It was caught in 1957, and I want to say it was 5+ pounds. 5 pounds, 3 ounces, caught by Fred Bright in July of 1957. Can you imagine a crappie, 5 pounds, 3 ounces? Jeez. I mean, I fish with 6, maybe 8 pound test on my line when I'm fishing with crappie, and that's pushing the limit right there. I bet that was quite an experience. And once in a lifetime. This happened again back in 1957. So I had the 50th anniversary of that a few years back. So there's a little challenge for all you crappie fishermen out there. 5 pounds, 3 ounces. That's the mark. Let's see if you can pull up something a little bit bigger out there. All right, here, and so moving right along, the other item of interest, and it's kind of a sad piece of news, but I was on the coast visiting some relatives, and I did not see this story when it originally came out, but apparently a couple of kayakers down on the coast were apparently kayaking in the backwater in the marshes, and they came out into the bay, or that part of the Gulf off the coast there by Deer Island, and got into some trouble. And their kayaks were found, and it was a father and son, and the father's body was found not too long after they discovered the kayaks. And then just the other day, they did find the other body of his son. Both were presumed to have died due to drowning. And that is a sad story indeed. And it really goes to show you guys, especially you kayakers and boaters who are too cool for life jackets, and I'm guilty of this myself. I don't like wearing my life jacket in my kayak. It restricts me, and I'm very confident in my swimming ability. But look, you guys need to have some sort of flotation device, at least readily accessible. If you're a kayaker, you can have it tied off to your ankle, a floating seat cushion. You guys in boats, look, if you're underway, if you hit some bad wake, it'll knock you right out of the boat, guys. You need to wear your life jacket, especially when you're underway, and even if you're just sitting in calm water fishing. One little trip, or you feel lightheaded because you ate something bad the night before, and all of a sudden you're in the water. You need to have something nearby. It's just real important. These stories, you hear about them all the time, and it's just so tragic, and it could be very easily avoidable, kind of like wearing a seatbelt in your car. No one likes it, but just do it, and sooner or later you'll get used to it. All right, well, that's a wrap on the news. Let's move on to the gadget of the day. As I mentioned, I bought a little John boat with a buddy of mine. We're looking forward to doing some crappie fishing, and our gadget of the week, I said day, but the gadget of the week is the name of the segment, and it is the Humminbird Piranha Max 4-inch waterproof fish finder and dual beam transducer. Basically, this is a fish finder and depth finder for your boat. And the reason I like this is it's kind of got the best of both worlds without busting the budget. I mean, you can go out and get high def, big screen, full color fish finders, but you're going to pay $200 or $300 for these. This little guy is $99 on Amazon. It's a black and white 4-inch screen. It's got your depth. It's got your water temperature. It's got great resolution on the bottom terrain, and it's also got a fish alert, and it's got a depth alert, which is something I wouldn't say inexpensive. This is more of a mid-grade price, but it's something the lesser or mid-range priced depth finders. That's a feature a lot of them don't have, is the alarm that will tell you when you're in less than 3 feet of water, or when it picks up on that there are signals indicating fish are present. So anyway, it looks to be a cool little gadget, and hope to have it in by Thursday, just in time for this really nice weekend we're supposed to have. And I'll give you guys a full report once I get it all hooked up and take it on a test run. So, all right, that's that for now. I appreciate all you guys listening. Go to the ditchfisher.com website, leave a comment. You can email me at eskimo.the@gmail.com. And this is the Ditch Fisher signing out.